Hello, welcome back to the channel House of Metamorphosis Tribe, where we're transforming hairdressers from the inside out. And today's little conversation is going to be about salon culture. This is something that I have touched upon briefly in many conversations that I've had here. And I haven't really dived deeply into it. I was actually having a deep reflective just go over of the videos, and I just realized that I've touched on culture, but I haven't really dived into it. And it's a really important part, an extension, I can say, of us looking at our salon ethos and where the ethos is derived from, and that is actually from the foundation of the values that we base our salon culture upon. How I like to build this is by looking at this like I'm building a house. And before you build a house, we need to actually lay really solid foundations. And concrete foundations, a poured concrete slab, is usually the best way to build a solid house that will sustain, dramatic weather and also longevity. It will sustain and maintain longevity in its standing. And I like to actually look at the way that I'm building, especially with my mentoring, of how we're building every brick from the base up. And part of building your foundations in the foundational pour is where we actually put in the values, your salon, your beliefs, your personal beliefs, your salon beliefs, and how that actually all upholds together. And in that comes out of, so if I have my values and my beliefs there, then what is the ethos? What do I stand for? What is my belief system? And this is really particularly directed at you salon owners and managers that are running a team. And a team can't run efficiently, especially if you own the salon, if the culture and the ethos is not set in stone. This is like, when you get a lot of chaos, or you get a lot of, your staff, and there's a lot of issues and people coming and going, and there's no solid consistency going on. And this is why I'm bringing this in, because I get people come to me in conversations in my mentoring saying that, they can't, their staff retention is a difficult point for them. They're finding it difficult to retain staff. And I come back to, well, how are your foundations built, and what does your salon ethos stand for? What is the culture of your salon that your staff are actually buying into? If you don't have a foundational ethos, if you don't have a foundational culture that is even gone to the point where it's actually put up in a SOP, and it's actually part of your salon systems and operations in the folder, the binder, the contract, this is, if you join our team, this is what you're joining us for, and this is what you're joining us with. This is what we believe for, this is what we believe in, and this is what we stand for. And everything that is done, the way that clients are approached, the way that team is approached, the way that, your stock people, your reps are approached, the way that your neighbors are approached, everything it bounces off that ethos, because that ethos is a reflection of your authenticity. It's not something you can make up. It's not something that you put together a concept and it is not foundationally founded in your absolute authentic truth. Those days are gone, and this is why I've come on to speak about this. There was, once upon a time you could build a salon and it would have a concept that would have nothing to do with how you felt or how you wanted to be or how you wanted to operate in the world. Had nothing. It didn't have to have any connection to yourself specifically. And again, I'm talking to you salon owners and managers, because the energy, I'm trying to explain it in a way that actually makes sense. The energy, the consciousness around that awareness with people was not available for us 10, 15 years ago. People didn't care, and they didn't feel into authenticity and whether there was an alignment between the business and the owner, and whether there was congruence between the authenticity of the owner and the business that they were operating. All they cared about is the service correct? Is the service aligned? And am I getting money, value for money? That's all they cared about. Energy's changed now. This is why I said that, a few videos ago, I actually put out a video called, energy is currency. And this is what I'm going to come back to it a little bit. Your energy is the currency of your business. And if your energy isn't rooted in your authenticity, you cannot build a successful business. Not in today, not in the future, not what's coming. You cannot build on anything that is inauthentic, outside of yourself, or illusionary. It needs to be built on foundational truth. And it needs to be built in a very authentic way. It needs to be approached authentically. It needs to be approached aligned with your ethos, your value system. Otherwise, the foundations will crack, and it will actually the illusion will start coming through, and you won't be able to sustain that model because it doesn't align with you. You can't keep up that performance pretending that you enjoy doing something or operating in a certain way that doesn't align with your authenticity. That is what we call burnout. That is burnout. That is emotional burnout, intellectual burnout, physical burnout, spiritual burnout. That's burnout on all levels, because the amount of energy that it takes you to run a business that is completely outside of yourself takes more energy for you to run that than actually running something that really aligns with your truth and your value. And it doesn't actually matter what that truth and values are. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it's authentic to you, which makes it an original reflection and depiction in the marketplace. And you will attract those clients that align with that culture, that ethos, that belief system. And then what you'll find is that you'll have a slipstream. You'll have a slipstream of energy that will occur where you're going to be able to feel freedom in your everyday work, feel an openness, feel an excitement and feeling inspired to be at work, because there's no performance anymore. There's no burnout. There's no fatigue. You're not going home at the end of the day and you have no energy left for the people, your family, your children, your loved ones. You have more energy because you're doing something that you love all day, and all you're doing is you're taking home that love to your family and loved ones. So your energy being your currency, and how you actually how you look at what it is that you are spending your everyday doing, and then allowing that to permeate into the culture, the ethos of your business, where every single staff member that is employed by your business is aligned with that value system as well. Because then what you have is client retention, staff retention, and you have a very well-oiled, authentic business that is aligned and is set in solid foundations, and everybody is in congruence to the value system that they're operating in. Otherwise, you're operating in illusion and you're operating in manipulation. You're manipulating your clients, you're manipulating your staff, and you're manipulating yourself. And hence the burnout. And I just wanted to come on and just share this cute little, message today, because it's another, one of the biggest issue factors that we have in our industry is burnout. And burnout's not just from cutting hair and standing up all day. Burnout actually is much deeper. Psychological burnout, emotional burnout is far more extends beyond the physical burnout than you can imagine. Once you understand the psychology behind what it is that hairdressing entails, and it requires from you to maintain and hold. And when you're operating from a place of unconscious psychological engagement, you don't know how to set those boundaries. You're not setting those psychological and emotional boundaries that are required to stop the burnout from occurring. So I'm coming on here because it actually goes all the way back. It's not just, set these boundaries and have consensual agreements. That is part of it. That is like the end part. That is like the extension of this. And I'm sort of like I've worked my way back, and now we're looking at, well, where does this come from? Where are the roots? I'm a Capricorn sun and a double Aquarian rising and moon. So for me, everything is like, what are the foundations built on? It's very important. How can I grow something successfully? How can I actually bounce with what I'm working with here and what I'm building here so that it sustains itself and it has longevity? And it grows and it flourishes, and it also honors every single person that comes in contact with it. That's the most important part. And it also nourishes me, nourishes the clients, nourishes my staff. It nourishes everybody. It is not something that I need to look outside of myself. It is within me, and I have the capacity to create that kind of nourishing environment based on how courageously vulnerable I can be with meeting my authenticity. Big work. It's big work. And when I'm working with my clients in a mentoring capacity, and we're looking at the business is the reflection. It's the mirror. It's your mirror of who it is that you are. So if anything is going on in your business that isn't aligned, that is causing chaos, that's causing disruption, that is not enjoyable, you need to take a look at yourself. You can't project it outwardly and blame a person for it, especially if it's your business and you're operating and running it. You need to take a look at yourself first. And this is what I do with my mentoring. It's deep. It's intimate. We really take a look at where the roots of the issues that are showing up in your outside, your external landscape, where the roots of those issues are within you. Once we actually, fix and we become aware, more importantly, become aware of where those issues are derived from, and you change your neuropathway around that, it will never occur again. Because you've shifted the mindset around how they were running to begin with. You've taken accountability, most importantly, taken accountability and taken responsibility to make the change happen from within you. So guidance in, if you're running a big team in a salon, having guidance and having support is the only path forward for growth, expansion. A very, very, very curious, conversation. So if you're a business owner or a salon owner and you're struggling with things that are going on in your salon at the moment and you don't just have no clear pathway, reach out to me at houseofmetamorphosis.au/mentoring and book a free discovery call with me, and let's have a chat and see how my systems and my way of working, being a therapist as well as a hairdresser for 40 years, can support you to build something that's foundationally has substance and has longevity and can grow. And beyond that, I hope that you've enjoyed this conversation today. And I so look forward to seeing you in the next call. If you loved this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It is something that I'm actually bringing out to support the industry and looking at what we do in a very different light and bringing the psychology behind what it is that we do and to meet it on the floor, meet psychology and hairdressing together. It is very needed. There's a study that's come out. Research has actually been founded that hairdressers need to have interpersonal qualifications to do this work. So finally, what I've been doing now for 25 years is surfaced and it has become mainstream. So this is a very important subject. It is part of the block that is in the way from you becoming the professional that you know deep down inside of you that you can be, but you don't know how to go about it. And if that's how you're feeling, reach out. And I so look forward to seeing you and speaking to you very soon again. Take care. Bye.